Nyakudi engatieli mwanzira bakaba subati musubati ako drive eka. Imanya kweboliga.
Unachoma.
Swati akukolega ali akurusibese.
Kirango. Kusaliole.
Akishije.
Bagani mbara. Kira. Kira. Bagani bare sojo kubwata.
Lakini ekene gusamba. Chigari mwagolire bobe. Muna aire ngobwate. Turajagiraye. Okoire ichigari sano nyakudi. Nchoko kore chigari sano. Omaja gobori omogeni nga kwanyuriro. Eturabikie igare koiruruka. Yenda nga etara gosino ike no nyempa Masai. Facha itabia oja gobori nga ayaga atwata ketairuruke chabu.
Morara Kebaso.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Mbia mno.
Mbia mno sana asogo cheke sa FM asema mbia bono. Tunashukuru.
Enguba ya mwenye getinge.
Ngakibogete.
Mbiyande. Tugwa kambia mona sinya sai.
Yes.
Oyogo tobo gima. Ne chisemi choko kora kelito konyara gokora.
Mbia sana. Morara Kebaso. Mwete tu wabogete mambi tukanyole. Kichana kete koko Morara Kebaso nini. Na ikuharenge before.
Umanyete monta taraso wa public life yo kora siasa konyoro nga nabwate bintu bya gokora nchina chete skuru Kenyatta University ngasomera law ngamanya guchake biasara bya Morara home furniture and other businesses ono na enge busy gokora bintu bya ne personal lakini ekero ngakia Gen Z yaika totene namo erinde tonyarego rusiense yaito ase yakwamira matobe ime na inche gatoka nganonde na baminto na ande gatoka ngana bere mstari wa mbele kurwanirira obogambyo bya sense yaito ya Kenya. Yes.
So Gen Zinero yako lento to the abantu bange kumanya.
Gen Zinero yandetete to the foreground lakini lili after June 25th enga chake gasi yenyayo gotalera chi project che serikali koro kimuna chibese cyabana inchi chi koba utilized and that has been my work gukora accountability na gotema ko ba educate abantu wasiko ba chisemia erinda banyale ko manyanga they need to make better choices at the ballot.
Igento kyalengera isiko chaka usengento kyalengera kongo.
Ege kongo sana.
Asiki.
First Kenya is very big. Say ito nene. And because of the size of the country, you go travel chi county chichonsi na chire chi county out of 47 na chire bano chi county 35.
Okay.
Igo ko nyara ko go to all those counties is not a simple affair. It's very difficult. Lakini naande komenta nayo balia bare corrupt leaders yaba kurumi ba ibere chibensi yaba na inchi ama nechi contractor mbali gotaka nga totalere miradi toende korokia bantasi chibire go sase chirire ono nabokonyanga you face a lot of danger buno konya gotara mbali batakotakereti mbali bataite gogoita mbali bataite gokomisa lakini protection comes from God and to wakambia mononga for all the work we've been able to do na very safe from harm.
No what political background kuruase kwa ngo mwanafunzi kwa rigetie kirogo gose familia
injeno mwana siasa iboire. I'm a born politician. Morara was the MP of West Mugirango. Kebaso was Senator John Kebaso, the first senator of Kisii. In Chomonyene I've been a leader all the way kuru primary, high school gocha pake university asena aligete okyobo chairman law school alafu ngachanka teneke okyobo president we student union ya Kenyatta University all the way to this day when I got the banta itekobe president ya Republic ya Kenya. I've been a leader through and through. Igotengana chagete suddenly it is something that was in me. Lakini obogambi na chirego discover is very difficult. It's not easy. Initially I used to thinking obogambi ndaisi was say it's enjoyable to be a leader. It's not enjoyable at all.
It's no fun.
Sio raha kukua kiongozi. It's very difficult because noena aboko bagambera they are quite difficult also. They are not easy.
Are you an activist or a politician?
Personally, I would say I'm a political activist. You see, an activist is a person who tries to bring social change as a society. a politician no to influence the public towards a particular direction. I'm trying to influence the public towards a positive direction. So both are right, a political activist, because I'm not an ordinary politician. I'm a politician that is looking for change. Na change it's going to be very difficult because a problem where Kenya is more than 60 years old. A foundation ya bege tuere mbe abananchi abanyene bakanya narabo, so to uproot that bad governance tari raisi. It's going to be very difficult, but it's going to be possible.
How possible?
Gwekatu chake no gukwanira abananchi bono buna rero buna nachiregesa. We need to talk to the Kenyan people. Bamanyenge ntegetangani chibese chigo tumekune serikali is your money. Maitekero kenda bantu bakwegunga chibese chiasirire kurwase county gose kurwase national government bakaganga chibese chiasira ne chibese chi serikali be banga ne chibese chiabo. Nanda bananchi abange bago kaganga singincho batari gwaka na ushuru directly asekiare igombali gwaka na, so they are not concerned. Nga chibese chiabo nga chigo tumeko bakagetenga bali bagwaka nambali bako na chwa se payslip ose balia bagwaka na directly bana biasara gosia chekiare ebone tomo Kenya ndonsi asare ogotegerege FM amanyenga kokwagolire 1 kilogram of sugar nuko gore sukari kurwase duka ngwakanire ebango, which is tax. Buno kobeka maguta pikipiki ya 150 or 200 shillings wakanire bango. Anything you buy paka amarua paka takintali changa amaru yeduka paka olio kogore suka esigara bamanyenga bonsi ngwaka na bale bango igo chibese chia serikali chigo tumeku in your communities. This is your money. Kwa mobe concerned estate yechi para cheino kwa manyenga kichinya kitali cheno chikoba kwa manyenga kichiskuru cheno chikoba kwa manyenga ngakia machago ikapakange na nyomba clean water to drink. Ebine bintu ikabi concern kero mwananchi tali viongozi boka.
Okay. Yatora na maiga ngai Vampire Diaries ya chiete.
Vampire Diaries is there. We did it about 2 weeks ago. It's been on a 2-week break. The last time tuaenge Vampire Diaries tualenge Nakuru County. Nakuru County togatale chi project au togachaka na nere aikuru kukarai fish market ya around 360 million. Tokagenda Maimayu level 4 hospital ya renge ya 158 million yuba begete another 40 and 35 million chikaibwa. Tokagenda Keringet high altitude training center ya bana abakimbiaji asebago practice stadium. Tokagenda Olenguruone stadium ya bekere 116 million 70 million chigaka no chikaliegwa e contract gendo gyoka akolete no kole Mengoro. Tokagende para ekorunjoro yaenda sakuru ku Mauche ne yende kuru ku Biston yaenda sakuru ku Elbagon pare yuruto monyeno ya launched and has launched it twice kuru kunjeru New Suit Road pare yo they allocated 1.1 billion ega koruchi kilometer ibere choke gatenena. So the Vampire Diaries is still there. Ni to ategeti about a 2-week break kora kore bintu binde na very important, lakini beginning this week or next week we'll be back again to the Vampire Diaries, and this time round we are actually going to Nyamira and Kisii.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that question. And I'm sorry, why focus? Monta na bale kolanga ki charity begins at home. And maybe and the kengu si kwa chakere so that you go to the world. Nkiki agarete ya renge kento kiama kusudi kwa chakera outside gusi and then you weche gusi.
No, you know, people forget that ingana achiete gusi.
Oh.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just that people do not remember. Maybe because the project chinichi county chachete chikabachi nyinge, people did not remember that I was actually in Kisii because na achiete gusi. You can remember when I was checking a project area went to a soapstone in Tabaka, which was allocated 300 million yarko soapstone value addition center yarako korone ministry mining, which was never built. I traveled different roads go chakera nyalibali masabe you William Ruto aloncheti paka tianya okorupa kaboni gaye ipareli ya Ramasha. It was never properly done. Ninchiete Kwerende Gusii Stadium. I went to many projects Gusii in area, and probably they do not remember that I was there. But Nabebo and again Kisii to do again those projects. Yes.
And what is this project Gusii?
Projects
Yeah.
Of course, so many of them. Lakini omanyete, the challenge with Gusii is we receive very little kuruasa serikali, so there is also very little to check in terms of development projects. One, for example, I'll tell you this. Obasiko travel the rest of the country, you realize that there are very grand projects, very big projects going on, which we do not have in Kisii. Because if viongozi waito maybe most of the time wanamshinda wakimsifu rais badala ya kufanya kazi. Obasiko and one, for example, Kwale, Asakuru Kushimba Hills. They have a project for 640 million yogo process fruits in Kwale. We don't have such a project in Kisii and Nyamira County. Yitobwate neri avocado processing, which was done under the European Union Ideas program, and it has never been to ultimate benefit yabantu ba Gusii. Obaseko and places like Kisumu, Kabonyo Kanyagwal Fisheries project is worth about 5.7 billion. We don't have any 5.7 billion project in Kisii.
Are you saying it?
Of course we are forgotten. We are not given anything. Because sometimes omaitengo tarera chi project as chiabeta located chikaliegu nchikoliri. Look, do we have anything like Itare Dam in Kisii? Itare Dam is worth about 40-30 billion. We don't have it. Do we have anything like Mwache Dam, which is in Kwale County, for 40 billion shillings? We don't have. No Nichibestu Anyako receive from the time, this new government came in, or even Uhuru's government. Haiwezi fika project moja which is in the rest of the country. Just go to Machakos County here. How many stadium projects have I toured there? Ngachira Kinyui Stadium, which was 50 million. Which was never constructed. Nkagenda Mavoko Stadium, which was 49 million, which was never constructed. Nkagenda Masi Stadium, which was 50 million, it was never done. These are 3 stadiums. Ngaigusi to what 3 stadiums except Manga and Gusii Stadium. We have very few projects in Kisii. So even when you are reviewing projects across the country, we don't have fair distribution of resources go Gusii.
So that is
a serious national government project.
A system was no way to what the problem, because nakitoko miss out such project teaching, because we see a argument as in government structure ndeonsi.
We are always in government.
Yes.
But if viongozi baribara ase serikali ngo tirimbo kibara matunda yugo cha setole go se bakwe benefit barabuboka. Leadership and governance negento kya maana sana. Abagambi ba Gusii baribara already members of parliament, bare senators, baribara close to the president. Their job is to lobby development teachers abananchi. Banyako lobby for that development teachers abananchi. The answer is no. Chibe saba Gusii ba konyora as at now. Nchirichi gocha to the county government, of which most of the money egocha se county government ichikoliegwa. For example, last year we received 8.4 billion gocha se county government ya Kisii. Out of 8.4 billion, a huge percentage went to payment of salaries. Let me give you an exact figure. Tokanyora 8.4 billion, 80% ekaenda so cho okolia. Recurrent expenditure okolia, payment of insurance, amagute gari, salaries to employees. Etobwate employees 5,570, which is not correct, because you baseko correct head count no ensimbarati na commissionati a head count ya employees be county ekatoka. There are so many fake workers on the payroll. Igoro chonye only 20% is going to development. 20% yeyu 1.5 billion. Gusii County ebwate 45 wards. Obasikobe kachibe sasikere ward is 33 million shillings per ward. To build a kilometer of road Nyakundi, you need 60 to 70 million. If only 33 million is coming to the ward, so you can't even build 1 kilometer of road. kosibese china ande chinde kwenda chire koliegwe chinde chienda se basari se chinde baba chego chiga. So the only money abagusi bakonyora boni as things stand ere ya maana ne yego cha se county but chibese chigo cha se county is being wasted. Obasko enda Nyamira county last year they received 5.7 billion 5.7 billion 60% ye chibese cheta sokolia. Chibese choka chicheta se development is about 1.2 billion. Again, it cannot build even 1 kilometer of road in the 20 wards of Nyamira County if you were to allocate it equally. Igo bunangoja na kuana asege Swahili ni wizi bila kazi. Chibese chigo cha se county now combined ya sabagusi 8.4 billion plus 5.7 billion, that's about 14 billion shillings. Na chichoka bagusi iba konyora and 90% of that money goes to salaries, okolia, fake workers, nini, oboibi. Only about 20% goes to development. Na kitota tuareti any serious county government project. Yentoki akabere chibese chito chiko ibu through revenue. Revenue collection, there's a lot of money that is stolen through revenue. And you omaite vampire that is audits development expenditure. Again, tokia bwanete kwaga chunkiaga achiri. But it's very difficult to go trace chibese chiko ibu through revenue. Usangerelie bango maite bese base koibu alia se bango igote igetia se account eta igetia se account to konyara go account for it. So we have e bango ego sangeruge kwenda se private account. Bono e county government era ali chibese chionsi ne national government is not giving us anything asengenje viongozi baito baraire kere president yago chegusi ni kusifu tu mtukufu rais baba wa taifa kuna kama wewe. Kuna
kosa gani kusibu kiongozi bana?
Omanyete kusifu kiongozi bwenete momo everelie elinde allocate development towards the region as in Chuchibe Sanchiro, and it has been allocated to other places, which is very unfortunate actually. Into bwenete go sifu ruto elinda ato a development is a right because we are taxpayers. Lakini enda singe njobo gambi wa Kenya njira bwa salekire. It has gotten to a point where you have to praise the president elinda monyore development. Mono iga in kisi ito bwate situation where they are praising the president with no development. Yeah? Ogo togia otari konyora kende. You are not bringing any development. The president comes to your county to launch a dormitory. Lakini kerako enda to other places is launching a 5 billion project, 10 billion project, 6 billion project chiko konya bantu. So viongozi wetu, honestly speaking, they've not used their influence and their closeness to the president to bring any development to the people.
Bono wasina na matukamaya. Asobora iweito.
Asobora iweito.
Currently was even matukamaya.
Okay, me I can speak beginning when Uhuru Kenyatta became president, because umaitena litu anyoete new constitution. A new constitution egachane public finance management clause and public finance management act. Nalia letete fair distribution of resources. Ekera letete fair distribution of resources ekabekwa se constitution. It's easier to judge how development has been done go chakera 2013 paka boniga. It's easier to judge it that way because yengaki ya Kibaki it was a purely presidential system where development mwareko egunenjira moigwana ine na the national government. As from 2013 ekerutu anyote the new constitution, it became a right. Aba gusimba went go beg for development. They were paying taxes if went banyore development directly to them. So go chaka go judge from 2013 the national outlook yenchere country yetu ya very governed no boibi, but also to talk about development teyo ya chire gusiere substantial.
Okay. Let's talk about governance. Kwa ya governance.
Yes.
Eyenegati yebinto byale ntabasai as a street and young people. No tebenga eganga wose gentekele basai bategete to achieve on that July. Is it something yabeire wose ifoti church tense?
As a bono, as things stand, we have not achieved kendigions to achieve the Kurwanera. Abantu bakwete na bange, some of them were my friends. Abu bagetu amasasi na basigari bagakwa abange mbale birema abande bado mbale nyagitali. They've lacked money to pay for medical bills. Elindo montaru sigu maybe risasirire stuck in the spinal cord. Esegie yons tu arwanete tu alekoligie bintu bitatu. Entege tangani uongozi bora. Ubogambi obuya. Yani ubogambi obuya meaning ubogambi bwa maskani, ubogambi where people respect the law, respect the constitution. Ngendo gya kabere tu alekoligia is transparency in leadership. Ubogambi where things are open and transparent. Asotali koligie binto ne touch. Ase ere very well understanding a budget nereye, a revenue niga iga tokorusi, expenditure niga iga. Corruption tuatagete ere kabisa. Na ukabila. Na kitu agote beranga tore tribeless. Yani obogambi gwetera tribal exclusion boere. Because yo maete kero bono buna gashagwa agote banga a government nechi shares naande abantu bako development depending on chikura irengole teta serikali. That's very poor thinking. Mbago tebalende also bado bogambi pobe shared according to how much revenue abantu bako leta serikali, because yabagusi they may not be many in number tote bono buna baikoyo in terms of chikura, but how much money do they bring into the Kenyan economy and do they generate in the Kenyan economy? To koligereli numbers chechikura chioka. Development yeko come from taxes. Echi abantu bakorwa. Nabagusina batenengu Kisis are very hardworking and very developmental. Igoba se koligereli numbers chechikura chioka to ligereli how much toko contribute to chase economy. You will not give us what is due to us. Igoba mangana ya tribalism yaregwanchere. Erinde the to fair distribution of resources to all counties and to all regions and to all tribes, regardless of where they come from and how much they vote and whether they voted for the government or not. Yeah, because that was the desire of the new constitution. We've not achieved any of them. Ruto aga fire the cabinet, akamanya koleta a worse cabinet than the cabinet that he had. You know, since he brought this new cabinet, Ngwaso Metenga Seti, 1.3 trillion shillings has been withdrawn from the national treasury. Eta itetia se control of budget na eta itetia se ifmis. 1.3 trillion, which cannot be accounted for. Can you imagine how many lives 1.3 trillion can change? Aya baga spend chibe sa seraila se AU. The amount of money they spent can build a level 5 hospital in almost every
just
county. Just
500 million.
Just 500. Are you serious? Just 500 million. If you decide to give 500,000 shillings to every Kenyan youth, those are 1,000 youth. Obesko mwako akere youth 500,000. Yoko chake biashara. And 500,000 is a lot of money. Or atebarendo akere youth 250,000. You can impact the life of 2,000 young people bareka batabwati gazi bare aido abange babo basoira samaru abange bachakire kunyonya sora abande bagoshinda the whole day as a place chogo bet abande bashinda as a pool because they are not resourcefully employed. Nane na kingo chanate banga abasaya aba batachi etiko ewe gazi ko se batachi etiko ewe opportunities to live, work and grow in this country. They'll become a problem not just to you but to everyone. These people only be a problem to the government. No, these people be a problem in the communities. Ondete yora tuale gari, ondete yora tuale simi, chinyomba chikoba robbed. There will be too many gangs, too many crimes because oyone kijana. Tabu atia sako menya. Tabu atia kia kuerageli. Osinyiru konyoma. Asengi ncha tabu ati kende. Osinyiru kwa akana noe ne dowry. Yeah? Erinanya eko nyoma. This frustrated individual nkiyokagetago chikokora for a living. So the population yabantu batabugatigasi has been growing every year. 2 years ago it was 5.7 million. Boni gato batabantu almost 6.5 million. Basomete batabugatigasi. Abumbali basomete inyoramba ngambaro batachete ko soma mono nande nabuga bange. So if 6.5 million people basomete batabugatigasi, menta bali batasomete, you'll come up to almost 20 million people. Bako liye gazi batabuati gazi baikaranse chi stage baganyetega gali badandiere mune makanga goseka magera banyole kende batene ina sama toba sigali chiko cha kwama eyeme kwame linde bayesu kumekurwa matobe mebanyore 200. So people are suffering. Nande government doesn't care. Barabuno boyibi bale. Okwe guchi pesa cheibiruga igachinganige chinde cheibiruga igachinganige chinde cheibiruga igachinganiga. So much money has been stolen from our country pakogozi nyunga abagambe baito. What are you trying to buy? Are you trying to buy eternal life?
A broad-based government in Jacha after demonstrations chebasai.
Yes.
Ya chile ya progressive first kanyora experts bako donated.
Yes.
uche serikali gokonya ku restore order ne bintu binde binge.
Yes.
Are you saying anonye no ku include kwa bantu the so called korenda ba Kenya bonsi amo tera address imichando yense?
Tera address kende yonse because mbache tiamo go address yemechando yense. Umaetera ilango charo to kwane rege songo kere very complicated agotaka goto confuse yagote anga I brought a 10-point agenda.
Yes.
Nga yoko konya abananchi. If you read that 10-point agenda, chishida chirabwe chiagote bagocha go solve nabwo abanyene ba create chishida icho. They talked about amadeni ya serikali, national debt. Wani gatobwate lideni ya serikali 12 trillion shillings. Out of that 12 trillion, to a quality audit with experts. And I can own that audit. Kochakera bunu Uhuru Kenyatta abete president with William Ruto as his deputy. Paka boniga. Chibesa chiasirire kurwase national treasury chiko amount to 7 trillion shillings. Chita fund tieni program. Chita kanetimokolie gasio ndebwensio moshahara. Chita reallocated under the budget. Chire borrowed and stolen, including Eurobond. Chibese 7 trillion cannot be found. Ye chibese chibire from the country. Oyolenge president nu Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta ako kolega na Raila Odinga. Uhuru Kenyatta iga akore handshake na Ruto recently atisha weri. Oyuba akolete handshake nere bagatuare gento kiare kurukunga the handshake government Raila Odinga. Iko bare ko gambamo. Bakagambamo na Ruto bagaikasi bakagosana bakagambamo na Raila. Ruto agachaka be president okole handshake na Raila. These are the three same people caused the problem. Uhuru, Raila and Ruto. They are the source of the problem because ekero Kenyatta agambete nse igato tigerete deni ya 300 million. Ekero for 18 years he left us deni ya 300 million choke. Ekero moyaga mbaga iga for 24 years igato tigerete deni ya 900 billion only. Kibaki negasi yonsi akolete toko mosifunga was among the best presidents igato tigerete deni ya 1.89 trillion. Abaibi abakurumi bagoro ku Uhuru Kenyatta na William Ruto, the two very serious thieves. Bagasoa bogambi bweto bwa Kenya ba borrowed from 1.89 trillion to 12 trillion. That is more than 10,000 times since independence. Nechibese half of it is lost, stolen, never funded any program, never went to any road. Echitali chiriogo tebanga chika allocate we para e contract aga kanu ta agacheti. Kosaka agache nusu. Yaya, echinchirichire borrowed, nchiso etino ena account ya Kenya. Ilikopwa na ikaibiwa na ikaenda. Yeah, and we are paying. Oma etebo niga out of our revenue area koba raised by KRA. Out of every 10 shillings, 7 shillings goes to debt. Out of every 100 shillings, 70 shillings goes to debt. Out of every 1,000 shillings, 700 bob goes to debt. Igonye chiwe chito chionsi chiko enda gochia so waka na madeni. When will we develop? Na madeni haya tatokonye tiga ibire.
Enege safe mwancho motakele Morara Kebaso mweni itasema mbiabono 0724256504. Yanonya leadership integrity na kukora mangana ya kuhochererua ku strengthen devolution, economic investment, inclusivity. You don't buy that?
Ebone ebine bintu bago kwane bikoba bosa lakini ebikorwa byabo bikoro kinga they are only interested in stealing public funds and national resources and nothing else.
Ngokwane twalenge goro ya mangana yobora na governance na mange and we were talking about the 10-point agenda. I think the issues as much as yabantu bago tebanga amangana yon spinara sedi chiko neta kire political goodwill edin lebinte bega okorekana.
Yes. Political goodwill yiteyo na ndeteri go chikobo. Nga kyora atebyo moibi aende go chungusa nga ichibese chiete na ndenero ibete. Because ekerotogo tebanga Raila na Ruto baumera niramo elinde barua nyobo kurumi go se corruption. The most corrupt person in the world is Ruto. Na ntarinje na akwana. Yeah, that was even in the newspaper. Yeah, that research ya koriu ya tokirenga one of the worst corrupt presidents around the world, William Ruto monyene. One kirogo toma William Ruto achikoruani corruption. Yo como toma achikweruani ago se what are you saying? He just needs to look in the mirror. Onye corruption gego chikoera Kenya, let it begin with the leaders themselves. Baribago teanga they want to fight corruption. Barabwa banyene kwanza bara atiga. kuiba mali ya umma baratiga barabwa banyene, then corruption will end. The other thing on the that agenda ya Raila na Ruto NADCO report,
yes,
which proposes to create chief position unechechi prime minister and others. These are not things we go so mwananchi boniga. They are thinking about how they will sleep, where they will sleep, ekibago chikoria, and how they'll take their children to school. No, yorwale tarenga tinga kiago ikanyagitari arwaligo. So when you're telling them about ngo chikoatoroye, kirogo ngo chikoatoroyo, kirogo, it's something that does not concern an ordinary Kenyan or a village boniga gosore town anywhere okweligeria. It is not a concern to them. Ngo konyore kirogo ngo tali konyora barabu batete korra service delivery.
Okay.
The other thing on this 9-point agenda was to raise and manage resources responsibly. Onye kene babu ate political goodwill yoko raise and manage resources responsibly. Ingi batari go chakira ne budget yo mwaka oyo. Budget yo mwaka oyo paletire budget policy paper ya 4.2 trillion. Out of that 4.2 trillion, babekere 3.1 trillion ne chiyo Korea.
Recurrent aliyo Korea.
Recurrent no Korea. What is recurrent?
Kuto mushahara wako mirimo.
Kwalia aba Kenya mbalenga boniga who their salary is helping them do development mbalenga. I'll give you a good example. Nangote Kisi County wate about 5,400 workers. 5,500. Do you know that 908, which is almost 1,000 workers, ba nachiruchi pay slip paka abatigalete na less than 14,000 in the pay slip. 14,000 etaun Kisi omenyete. Enyomba ogwaka na totebele say 5,000 shillings. Let's imagine. You are left with 9,000. Kogoswa naivas kokora shopping. Ogole skari, ogorobosi, chinyanya, ebitunguo, and all these things. The 9,000 is gone. You cannot remain with even 1,000. Yoko kora development, gosio kwa gache nyombe kwa meteka, gosiko kore ngombe. Most Kenyans right now, balibabwate pay slip. They are surviving on recurrent. They are just able to receive pesa kuruga yaso anda. Bako receive korwa yaso anda. It's very rare onyo romo Kenya boni go gachete chibeza. Ngai bono che isanira tete ko chikogora go sene ngombe, osate tete ko chikogoro bolimo, osate tete ko chiko invest in something. Abange babo boni ga their payslip have been raided, mbabu atikende bara atigali on their payslip bakorere any development from savings. Igobono ekingo go de vinkelinga a country ya Kenya. Onye to bwate budget ya 4.2 trillion. And we are only putting 750 billion as a development. For 3.1 trillion is going to recurrent. That is a problem. That is a very big problem. Nande problem we yere paka Sichi County. Now what I've been Kisi County, 8.4 billion was spent last year. And only 20% went to development. Monekero, you are taking only 20% to development, 80% kwa irira so Korea. Because yamaguta yegari oguno Korea. Because it's just traveling around. Yes, this money is needed for operations of government, but yes, itiko cut down on expenditure and corruption. Chibesa choka chiko sirago chia se corruption. Umetekere kijana oletote alia bosi hango village in Nyamira. Ako igunga 5 billion has been stolen. Tabuga atigasi. Ngina gose ga onyo bolemo akairwe university agasoma bwata makaratasi nyombasi nyirego sago utere chiko are useless in the village, yet they went to school, are unemployed. No yonde naro nero tachi school wente konyore gasi nebane biebi barua bitayo because of a shrinking economy. It becomes very painful. Nande kina kigego kore vijana basoka to the streets kurwanie serikali. For example, I've announced that on Monday next week.
Yabarali.
Ntobwate rally. Yaba ntobon spiota bwati gas. If you are jobless and idle,
agenda niki.
Tobwate rally Uhuru Park. Atubasiko kumia about the agenda. Because we are jobless. Wono abantu bare jobless. Nto gocha kwanza also Messi via nene nchenso me yao. That can ntokora network to manyo what we will do about this situation, because the government doesn't seem to care. And they are not concerned. Eba agote banga o tualige abantu chigasi Saudi Arabia. Ena gamba no mosa yonde gaiga baba ngetera ini KICC bagatebu nkonyora bali chiga Saudi Arabia paka akaba shortlisted igale ne group ya over 300 people bonsi basa betu 50,000 shillings each 50,000 shillings each over 300 people bagatebu nga Alfred Mutua Monyene the cabinet secretary of labor akaba they'll get jobs in Saudi Arabia paka bono mbanya konyora chi visa up to this day wina tokuwa na 54,000 bale ko sabune chi akichibe siko ibwe serikali every day. The government could afford to pay 54,000 for all of them because 54,000 iba taytunga bagwa kanera medical na visa processing fee, something that the government can pay. Again, tomuna medical, most of these governments are government hospitals. Mbare ko balikera lirube baendoro bakore medical for free. Bono monto tabu atigasi. Na ande kuachire kwa mosu unyoire 54,000 abu ate go sachira asabire li deni go sengi na achira mosabire kuro ase chama go seisa onirie ngombe. Eli nanyore gasi ende Saudi Arabia achikobe omokoli emiremo nyomba ya oselpio monte linda chako konye familie kwa mora chirichi atigarete. Bono these people are frustrated and that is why whenever vijana bigocha to the street they are very bloody because of pain, because of anger, because of frustration. Abantu bale in pain, abantu bale in anger, abantu bale in frustration, and they don't see any hope. Mate arekobanga there is hope. Monto maybe arochinga 3 months from now, konyora tore gasi. Ose 5 months from now, hope nero. Ngoli kutore gasi, kosengo chaka tole biashara. Kenya would be very different. But boni ge vijana tobwate is they are at home, idle, and there is no hope
of these young people. This progress ya achire. You've gone to the street, mandamana kolere, cabinet have dissolved. In your own words, a worst one has come. Experts have already donated. We've made progress, broad-based. Now even broader to achire. Abasai bali mwalengenda baruwa sekosiega, abande basabere kanire, abande ba join the political parties. I have seen on one incident kwa ngete go PSA show no musa I don't want to discuss him because he joined a political party. I am monyene warosi the political party. Esamari bado negendrete ya Gen Z ose ya kubete.
Ganyoro le mande. Ndio utajua tunakuanga wengi. Omanyete the youth of Kenya are 78% of this country. The youth abasai. 78% of 55 million Kenyans, we are 78%. Asaba akichikura 22 million, the youth are 15 million. People below the age of 35 who are voters, about 15 million. Kale tikante beke ne basae mbabu ate interest yo waka chikura maono.
True.
Ekikero kineke, you know, if we don't start by accepting the truth, it will be a problem. Tiatu anchenga basae mbale ko soka waka chikura. Not because they didn't want to, but because they lacked an option. Okoligere lietebe kwa nyoro gochora between muizi A and muizi B. Omokurumi A no mokurumi B. Na bubara setebe. Incompetent A na incompetent B. Wate banga wano nintaboka. There is no hope. Lakini Kenya ya boni gase ya ikeire. Economic pain ya kolira abantu babokire kiakili. This time round, the youth are going to vote in very large numbers. Na ande tuachakire campaign yoko enishwanga kiro mosai all over the country. Kochaka no mosai omogusi abu ate kura. If you don't have an ID, ligia ID yao iyo ndio silaha yako. Mo base konga inunga Ruto is so powerful nga ago chiko iba chikura. Ruto monyene onye if it is true that a president is so powerful nga ago iba chikura mo konyara komobua. Ase Kiruto abuete Uhuru Kenyatta na Raila Odinga. Uhuru Kenyatta was a president. Raila Odinga was the enigma himself. Onye Ruto nyale te kobabua no eni ntuna bato komobua. The only thing we need to do egentege tangani nto basikuligere lyobo kabira mono. Omonto gotegerege saboniga tabase gwanja Morara merely because he's a kisi. Tigamo ligere lyomo gusio yonga no mogusio moronge because yabagusia batuambuna barabumbaro. Tali bagusi bonsi abaya abayibimbaro abande tuachore buna abarai who are wasting CDF funds, who are wasting county government funds, who are wasting national government funds mbaro igotali bumugusinga nga kwencharo mugusigo ekatoma. No, we have to put them on a scale tomanyenga. Number 1 tali nga yarwe tomaito buna bobo bebwa bagusi sometimes.
Yes.
Kochaka kobolio montonga nga yorwete your mother ningo ayenekere ntane gocha gaiga ayeisota rioga inu mwarwete bo basi inu mwarwete bo getutu inu nabagirango inu nabanyamatuta ya inu nabasamaro. We have to get to a point where we cannot be divided on the basis ye tribe na the basis ye clan. Urucho already tokorwa ni tribalism at a national level. Na ande to chakoleta a small tribalism as a county nga yobo kenyomba. Nga bono omogambi ogamba bobe kakoboli guliswali bate anga abu bakomorwani nabagetutu. Nga abu nabanchali bakomorwania asingisho batatageti agambe angoyo gambete no mobasi gose whatever. Inero siasa ya Iran irigusima ega long way, because then you cannot put leaders to account. Because kero mogambi ago tamatu their tribe, kego ikagusio tamatu their clan. A clan kia mo defend otanga no moibi lakini no yoito. For as long as we as Kenyans go saying tubuna bagusi toko tanga oh no moibi lakini no moibi yoito, we will never develop. Onyo mogambi oruete gusi akakorwe cabinet secretary ochiro mismanaged funds che ministry ebwenete ko baba gusinga na bwa batanga ni bagotebe president ngo mogusio yurusi abo atarato sareria rieta tutagete koleto mogusio mongao obwate chimbu chingia osigete chibesa chiaba na inchi nando tete kokolera bantega asitali gwete nengi. So we need community accountability. Kere community abaluya batwa their own accountability mechanism aba iko batwa their own accountability mechanism. Umaite I fail to understand in Chebuno Mosai. I'm now 29 years old. But even though it makes sense to me. Anu Waiguru, abuate case gia corruption, gia 20 billion, korase Ministry of Devolution. Oenda sobo kirinyaga ba mochora bune governor. Ache ko manage county resources. Ka abuate kina gia corruption gia 20 billion, korase ministry.
Ataratoka guilty.
Taratoka guilty. Lakini intubuna ba Kenya. Ekerokwa mentioniwe ase corruption scandal gose kwa nirwe ngana vera atoke ngachibese chichisirete. You need to step aside to kole investigation togo kwa chinguru ngaki investigation ego chikonyarekana omonto kageiru ngana ibete chibese chiaba na inchi omonto oyo toko mobo gambi twamwere chinguru because omonto obono will be very powerful no nabasikali bakobo akomobwata gose bako enda asale bamosaba chibesa nanda sinja control etie kiti ye county akoruchibe chiaba na incho tumia kohongana omonto once mwa moire chinguru ndi mogo cha komanyekene.
So you are on course Monday ngo ratoleto bauti na mwananda mangi
nda kora Daniel Manduku the MP for Nyaribari Masaba bali bamwanje titiga bamwanje, but the moment he was mentioned at a corruption scandal ya Kenya Ports Authority igenteke tanga ntu abanta kokora is he needed to step aside intumna abagusi kwa stora amanyanga. What is that all about? Ekerogo pikyo monto obwate corruption scandal kuru Kenya Ports Authority mwamo koromo bunge. What kind of development are you expecting?
The case is live in court. He has not been proven
Gladys
guilty.
Bosisholei abwate kina gia corruption kuru judiciary ochori kobe women rep. Okay, aba oko bateteanga ibina byabo bibire koti
kumerwa
once kwa mokoliro mo bunge ngakiago chiko kumerwa. Tiango example ekia series ya MP Waluke iga atoka guilty yoko iba chibese kurase serikali National Cereals and Produce Board onyago sibu iga arusi gwechera boli moyo umuntu ako ibengoko osibu almost 10 years umuntu okoraga ntaka sinini omwana abana be skuru oyo molenge 19 years baje bakoraka gosoliga no moise kore 17 years yaba defilement osibu 30 years as a prison. Lakini Waluka ibete chibese ya serikali na chibese chiri ibete tali chiaba luya chibese ne chiaba Kenya bonds including yomogusi omete some of these leaders ekiroba ko chibese chitoba siko kaanga ne chia sobo baiba nga therefore we should not be concerned. Chibese chibako ne chiaba Kenya including ebese yomogusi no ere mabo eyorwete bune bango ono monto tokete guilty, lakini monto yobuna atoka guilty akarusi gwechera moyo. Aya, oyo no yonde Aisha Juma okokorwe cabinet secretary na William Ruto kabwate kina kia mada kokokoro monte cabinet secretary kwa mwire chinguru kwa mwire power nga kekine kia mada gego chikomonyora guilty because bono kwa mwire power ago chiko interfere na witnesses na ndago chiko bweki nakeli using corruption.
Okay.
Abantu na abange paka oyo korokuanga Didmas Barasa shoot somebody in the head amwagete risasi umotugoro muntu agakwa boni gabantu babungoma bagotenganere babegete motu abe governor yabo igo a problem where Kenya tali viongozi.
Okay.
Abananchi is the number one problem. To check into as the people of Kenya. What are our standards? Standards to governance in Chirichi. What do we want? To basikomanya what we want, the leaders will shape up. Lakini into abanyene, if we don't know what we want, the leaders will not shape up. Because montako ibachi besa orete kanisa tuamotogi. Ngae nagochio yoko iba orete kanisa.
Osangare na into.
Alafu mambi mwamanya go complaining that the schools are bad. Ma complaining that the roads are bad. Ma complaining that there is no dawa in hospital. But rende simbarati kaba etobo siye. Ngai mwama etebugaruete.
Ase amangana igoro ya political element. Many people are not comfortable. They are very comfortable style watch agete say watch it gocha also far. But there's a discomfort. As I okore mare munabara ibuna babo rigiji who you accuse of mentally go salia say it. But you are still sitting down with them.
Yes. Of course, there's a problem when anagote bina problem we chagete kuru independence talibono ya chaka. Umheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua nabwata yaye abayamanyete mbayamanyete mono ncha I don't agree keronko igwago kwana a language obo kabira agotebanga tubuna abayikoyo tubwate chikura milioni 4 tubwa chikura milioni 5 tubaseko sangana ino abakamba chikile milioni ngapi tubaseko bwaterana nabaguzi twabwire William Ruto. That is solving a problem by creating another problem. A problem tubwate Kenya boniga no go share resources based on obo kabira where okonyora bayikoyo babwachi cabinet secretary 8 asingi chikura cyaba cyenge chinyinge omugusi onyore ya moyoka ya education asingi chikura cyarenge chinke yet abantu aba bonzi are living in the same country bonzi bagwaka na taxes bonzi bare entitled to development oyo nabara atwa chikura chinyinge lakini oyo taxes yakurwa echire chinyinge asingi njare hard working or asingi jago generate more through business go through agriculture muna gusienzi o mwandere very fertile. We need gokora mangana tribalism na ndeke ronkoro monto muna Rigathi Gachagua in spite of him being my friend ka gokora siasa yobo kabira I feel disappointed as a young person. Him? Privately yes.
Okay.
But publicly no. Aseki abantu ba eba Mount Kenya bobebu ayemba borochi barabu bamanyetenga ya nere eli tolete nero tutangaine. Okay? Nere simba ya ito tobwate nero tutangaine motwe. Obasiko chaka konya kuruanese gina Rigathi Gachagua, you create a division within the opposition which is supposed to be united. Igota rikerege ntaba gambia baga kora I agree with. Eugene Wamalwa obere cabinet secretary chi ministry nye. Ainge minister ya I think justice and legal affairs na renge minister ya water na inge minister ya devolution na inge minister ya defense. Ngota kande sana na mobolinga chi ministry chionsi nye. What did you do go change lives chaba Kenya bono to ikaransambo tutete go chata new path for Kenya lakini baliba moigwerete koruso baboluya na barabomba moigwerete pamanyetenge enere eli ya ito totangane timotwe ochake se ginere go so chake komoruani in public you create divisions within the opposition chira unnecessary ikobono ya ikere ngaki where we set aside our differences. Yes Nyakundi, I don't agree with you but we have a bigger problem. That bigger problem is William Ruto. So why don't we unite and solve the bigger problem? Once we have solved the bigger problem, we will solve the problem between you and me, which is a smaller problem. A problem, na leaders of opposition is a very much smaller problem compared to a problem ya William Ruto, which creates a necessity to go a colleague asiyamo to mayagocha ko gosigikani later.
Okay.
Yes.
Political alignment chicken rete na to kwana. You are still running for president?
Yes, I'm running for president.
Oh.
Yeah.
As you said, esa mangana ayo manyana kwatenga Gachagua bantu basomba moigwerete na ere bago suguma. Ngeko rantu wadi chelisa tukurusi. The three names are being fronted. Kitango tuwa ninte elia yamo.
Incha, I'm not running as a kisi candidate goni vere maybe mawate.
Eleneli. Ya kabeneli.
Maybe Maraga and Matiangi na buna igole. Inche tindi ko run on the basis of Kobomo Usi. I'm running on the basis of Kobomo Sai from Kenya. nintegemete kura yomogusi, but I don't plan to do tribal politics. Ingan consolidate kura yomogusi ma kwenda ko negotiate no Moikoyo gose no Mokamba no Moluya. It's not my game. It's not what I'm interested in. I believe that we should go above it.
If asked to,
I want to serve Kisii as a Kenyan, not as a Kisii, okay, but as a Kenyan, because Abagusi Mbale who affronted themselves as leaders in Kisii and still failed. So, aseba libata ete kura ko consolidate tribal vote yomogusi, Matiang'i na Maraga. Now, Maraga is in Nairobi here. Kokore meeting kanisa ende university ka ukwana motivational speeches riba ako ende ground ya ligi chikura. Matiang'i is in the United States of America agokora siasa nesimi. So ngagimotete gokonya kaza.
Morara Kebaso gale Vampire Diaries na Akuru.
Exactly. So what we need to do is this. Let me just say how I see siasa ya Kenya from my perspective. The moment Matiang'i gose Maraga bago chaka siasa ya Kenya korua somogusi, they will lose before they begin. In fact, they've lost before they begin. Why? Because Kenya has 22 million votes. Echichiregusi is 700,000. Outside Kisii, probably around 800,000.
Gusii and outside Gusii could be around 2.3 million.
We talk about 2 million in votes. Out of 22 million, there is 20 million votes out there that people need to look for. You got any Kisii or interested Kobe president, the place to begin is not Kisii. It's not where you begin. Because our numbers are not sufficient. Asobwenetego Chakera is out there. William Ruto, no Moikoyo alenge akamayago chakwa keruchukura na Baikoyo.
But he started from Rift Valley.
No.
He consolidated his vote.
No. If you count the number of meetings William Ruto akolete Central Kenya, there are 524. I've counted them. I know. There were 524 meetings. He did only 26 in Rift Valley. Yeah,
because he knew the vote was intact. Nobody was opposing it.
Hey, rende ko tene ne buno mogusi ya Matiang'i. Kiso mogusi na manyete nga no mogusi. Takwenda kwesigi kiase local politics echikonya kogotiringa bosa. Genda sikabira echichinde kwanza karaba ebere libako echikura. Because if they accept to give you the vote, eyo mogusi will come.
Okay.
Lakini bono umaita bantu bashindiere tega abwase politics yo mogusi. It's already small. And Ruto will get his votes in Kisii by there. I don't know whether people know that. Out of this 2 million votes Chiabagusi, was 700,000 Chirichire Kisii and Nyamira. Believe you me, William Ruto will get at least 40%. Why? Because of Enda. Abagusi banche teko serwa. Na William Ruto chibesa ibetene chinyinge. Abasiko bangia bantela ini abaelibu na bakonyora some votes. Nabata nyoa chinyinge, but he can get some votes in Kisii. So, obaseko chaka siasa ya oyo run for president korugusi, you've lost before you begin. Because no ene kromogo ikase mesa, oigweteriga digashagwanga kiako gamba, ako gamba shares. Type?
Yeah.
Ako gamba siasa ya shares. Bago chako ikaranse mesa. Ere, Kalonzo, Matiang'i, Kiromonto, Pakanje. The first question will be, chikureire ngokore? In Morara, my argument will be that I'm running as a Gen Z. I'm bringing Gen Z votes, which is 15 million. I'm not running on the basis
you
of
don't have
tribe.
those votes with you.
On Monday,
In the past, Morara distanced himself from the roots Yomogusi and branded himself as tribeless. What has changed now that he's addressing the public in linguistic tribe? Furthermore, as a self-proclaimed champion of transparency as public finance, does he apply the same standards as Sarero Monyene, who holds the money he receives in his personal account from public fundraisers, funds that in essence resemble public finance? Most important question, is he supporting Matiang'i? Actually.
I will support any person who can run for president or a person of integrity. Maraga is one of them. Any person who can run for president or totally corrupt and our country run properly, I will support them 100%. I'm ready to step down. I'm ready not to run for president and just run for something else or even rest. But we need a leader of integrity in 2027. Not a Kisii, not a youth, a leader of integrity. ekitoganeti in 2027 tari leader mogusi toganeti a good leader kara abo mogusi nyasa wancha but we need a good leader and a good leader zimbale gusi, and I've told you one of them is David Kenani Maraga. He's a solid guy and a man of integrity. Okay now it's not enough to say you are a youth, you want to run for president. We have corrupt youths.
Why are you avoiding this question, Yamati?
Ntobwate youth but corrupt. I'm not avoiding question Yamatiangi. Okay, boli.
No, I asked you a question about the three of you. You focused only on two.
On two. You want me to? But Matiangi is in the United States. So what do I need to say? He is not here.
Maraga is not here equally.
Matiangi has not even said he's running.
Neither has Maraga.
Maraga has said it.
He said he's thinking.
Recently, kerarenge Urupa.
Atenga
moba sekonga.
Gotara denga nateketi.
Ense. Once ya tevire moba sekonga igo barute iro mopira otebenga komoranche.
Bado le tribeless.
I'm not tribeless does not mean that you don't have an identity gosasoruete.
Okay.
Tribeless means you're willing to judge leaders not based on their tribe but based on the value they bring to the nation. Nabotogo twaro mogambio mu ya Kenya otali omugusi nanda ongoze Kenya buya sana abagusi barosie nibo. Nanda botogo twaro mogambi Kenya oromogusi a mess up Kenya so much paka no ninto abagusi to so ke ko associated nere. Igo good leadership is not based on your tribe. Telling us in Choromogusi you are a good leader. No. Good leadership is based on people's values and integrity. Nande nchina kinte go focus on the main issue, which is good leadership.
Okay.
Kara abo mogusi will be so grateful. But gata abo mogusi but bad have a good leader, we are still grateful. When it comes to the issue of being tribeless, that's impossible to be completely tribeless. You can be tribeless in your thinking, but you cannot be tribeless in origin. Morara is a Kisi name. Kebaso is a Kisi name. Onomo gusi, orwete gusi, osomete gusi, onyomete through procedures chomogusi, traditions chomogusi, o akanete dowry through traditions chomogusi, o arogete bunomogusi. So then it means he is omogusi by every standard.
Very well.
But then, ekrego ikase siasa. Mwate banga bono, etutagete gwakira Morara singencharo omogusi. Morara makogamba bobe. Mama gotebanga oibire chibesa chiabantu, lakini no omogusi. Oikatwanche ntoli gweitera, oikatwanche oyo minto. We are messing ourselves and our generations because ya bubatari go chikonyora chigasi na abagusi, abago chikotoa chipara chimbe na abagusi, abatari go chikotwara maliogo nyagitari na abagusi. The governors that have messed our counties, they are Kisis. They are not from another tribe.
We have 10 minutes. Who audits the money you receive from the public fundraisers?
Bono. You see, public fundraising and public funds is very different. Public funds is taxes and loans borrowed by Kenya for the development of the country. Chi donations kurua sabantu enge sadaka. Now, kanisa nebwate church board. Receive sadaka, ya allocate sadaka uneko and as a development in nyomba pastor nini and everything. At Inject Party we have a 14-member committee of finance. Ebwate chairman ya finance mobilization. 7 members ebare Kenya. 7 of the other members ebare Ngumbu, United States, United Kingdom, Switzerland, and we have one in Qatar. So we have 14 members for that committee. Ekerochibese chichi abere received into their account. They are accounted for, they are budgeted for, they are spent, and the reports are there. And from time to time, Nabekirichi reports each on social media, so I don't know why he has not been able to see them. But those reports are there if he wants, because Nkocha Toetwana Pakamari City. This is what we spent as a Amaguta Yegali. This is where we went this number of kilometers. Munabono recently na beke post ya how many kilometers we did from Nairobi to Mavoko, from Mavoko to Emali, from Emali to Kimana, from Kimana to Oloitoktok, from Oloitoktok to Ilasit to Narara, Narara to Rombo, Rombo to Njukini, Njukini to Taveta, Taveta to Voi, until we got to Kwale County. and it was 1,200 kilometers. We accounted for how much fuel we used. Igo aba Kenya bali bago to support, they should know that their money does a lot of good work.
There's a time you were having a very serious confrontation over Kenya.
Yes.
What was the problem?
No. You see, leadership is a journey, as I told you. As you're coming through leadership, you get to discover things here and there. At that time, I used to respond to people thinking that they are people. Na chanka gondoanga, serikali actually ebwate a team ya bloggers wagwaka nuchibeso on a daily basis barase social media umontoyo maigorete chi account chia Facebook 20 aigorete chi account chia TikTok umontoyo mabwate chi account 20 umontoyo mabwate chi account chia Twitter 10 ngacha konyoranga kumbe n'abantu bagaikarance room abantu 30 babwate chi account yeli bweyemo akweroka Otienoga akweroka Wamboi Moina akweroka Kipchirchir Moina bona yo kagetenga n'aba Kenya bago korwani bago kobolia maswali bago ko deep platform gose bago tema ko shukishe steam kumbe no muntu tatogo enjoy their life olega asiolikire ate biringa oyo mo provoke mobolieke mosegesega igana liara respond. So I came to realize that I'm not even actually responding to Kenyans, I'm responding to fake accounts. Ngajangatige ngakieli na gasinyirunga ngakibono mo Kenyo yatari understand something very basic. Na kerezi ama taisire
koigwa
ngakiatari koigwa kumba ali kireta igwa. So sometimes Kenyans need to know that some of those social media accounts are fake accounts. There are fake accounts.
There are people, there's this feeling you are not Morara Kebaso operating alone. There are some forces behind you. Because how do you even know President you made very serious allegations 20. So there are some people who feed information. They got input within government.
And no operate no without information. Of course, nimbwate information.
So who's funding you?
The Kenyans. Are we talking about information or funding?
Both.
No, funding is Kenyans. Ngesengo chanabeke pay bill online abantu banchangiro yotoma 20 shillings, 500 shillings, 100 shillings, 1000 na nchina mentera ni chia ne chine aligiri twakole bintebi. But information, yes, I have people who inform me. Nimbwata abantu treasury bagonsokeri documents bangorokia manga nimbwata bante chi county mbali nimbwata banta CNS nimbwata basani ase DCI nimbwata basani all over the place no engumbu nimbwata basani
abakenya abanyene nenyalekana ngabanta mbali maybe batali support the government of the day from within.
Abakenya abange they don't support the government of the day. Even an opinion that was done by Infotrack 80% do not support. Aba Kenya na abange bari frustrated na serikali na anda abandi baba bakora kigazi ya serikali bago ntomera information ase simiane gosa ase inbox ya social media goseba ase kerobata getichi namba jao njimanyo bago tumo monton tebi ego yes I do receive information, I cannot deny it, but this information is coming Korwase Kenyans very frustrated na serikali ebata gete change.
The reason why I'm asking is because some of the information, I'm a journalist, some of the information is so classified.
Yes.
That not any other ordinary person would enjoy.
But of course people know. You see, let me tell you. Karochi basiko ibukoro ase serikali. Omo ndogo ra chindege sita in London. Chindege sita each costing 14 billion. Chindege ichi kera chigolire nchiga net insurance. There are only 2 companies worldwide chigo offer insurance ye chindege. Yeah? Only 2. And one of it ne syndicate ye Lloyd's of London. Lloyd's of London EU has thousands of employees. Some of them are from Kenya. Yes. Na obakoligereria marieta iga bamanya something is amiss. Oaka kabicha ontomera ase WhatsApp ontebinga chunguse gente ke chindege njire twairwa atokole insurance na nenjirankare gosoma marieta agaiga na ya so who are related to the government of Kenya chibese jinga ichikaruete kogo chibuati. If you just follow the money you'll find that it is stolen public funds.
Inject party. Do you think ngocha go deliver kwa renge biya kwa gotkara as a whistleblower as compared to mainstream politics?
You see, the challenge is that whistleblowers cannot change anything apart from just giving information. Umaite once you're a whistleblower, or koroking obokurumimbora. But beyond there, you don't have the power to change anything. Bono, sometimes yego ikapaka wacha go itwa, wacha go akulisa as watoka go kwete, merely because you lacked the power to do anything, but you've already revealed the information. Murana robete whistleblower Masai Mara University, orenge accountant. I think he was called Kasaine. Or reveal it mna chiba siko ibukuru Masai Mara University. At the end of the day, the same vice chancellor, oibate betenga nero ibachiba se chiga iraneti office. Akaenda agakora ko maaki gali akaira ni office. Oye whistleblower gabidi atame. Elinde tabase goitu. Igobono kobe whistleblower in Kenya, you are just revealing ebintu njira bigo korekan. Lakini how will you change them without political power? Ngakyoko chigo change ebintu ebi from where they are, because no na Kenya ngo ikabale bako bolinga watoto every 5 billion was stolen here, 40 billion was stolen here, 3 billion has been lost here, 19 billion has been lost here. Muna bonongo tebichi besi biru Kenya, you will not believe. I don't know which county to begin, but let's for example begin was in Gishu County. 1.7 billion was allocated. 1.2 billion was stolen in something called the Kipkaren Water Treatment Project. A 1.7 billion. Kenda Kabonyo Kanyagwal Fisheries and Aquaculture Project, 2.5 billion each is rate. Kenda Nakuru County Itare Dam, 19 billion has already been paid. Kokoenda gali gentokio kora nyole ne ngorere mire bine kware ne obo chuma bo kegega na concrete. 19 billion is already gone. E-Citizen astogwa kana chibe sia services che serikali. 15 billion from the previous financial year cannot be accounted for. 104 billion each is rete kuro asesha chokoro ase system. 42 billion shillings each is rete kuro ase Ministry of Energy chokoro ase pipeline kuro Mombasa paka Nairobi yare kuro ku line 5. 40 billion. A minister ye minister ye iningo expert chiriwa kwa na chia broad based opio wandai neroro. Money has been stolen in Kinyu Stadium, 50 million. Masi Stadium, 50 million. Go to a project in Emali for cows, Chiakajiado County. Bareko tugachiombe kwa egwe moli. Ba tugachiombe kwa aba na inchi ba egwe moli ochikolenda. That project there aba ibete 19 million chiefense. Not 19, 29 million chiefense. Ba dedenga obole mo to tobo be Kenya fence. Bakaiba 29 million. Gende pare Ruto areko launch recently ya Ilasit Ndarara Rombo Njukini 5.6 billion chisirete gari gone. Genda Ruringu Stadium Nyeri 263 million chiakanire. The stadium has never been completed na besiretego. Moses Kuria nero lenge kwerende contractor ye stadium ye koroku Karatu Stadium. Moses Kuria monyene, a company where he is a director, nere contractor ye stadium ye koroku Karatu Stadium in Kiambu. 120 million igabu chichiete. So there's so much money stolen in Kenya, you can't even mention how much money has been stolen. Now, the question is, in Morara as a whistleblower, apart from kokotebinga chibese chinchisirete, how am I helping you? You'll have to help me to help you. You'll have to give me power to go and fix that problem. Any position you give me that can fix corruption, I'll be very excited. Because corruption is taking away the opportunities of young people who can live and work and grow in this country.
I wish chise chitongo tuanchira challenge to ngana robi jonde abo, but then they will still find time. Edindelio woche kukwanera mangana na mangare.
Yes.
Na wego ne se ne ngalere, so we wait.
Yes.
Ase enchira erendonge. So your final parting word as Mogusi.
My final parting word as Mogusi is number one, let us seek good leadership. Kuruase chi communities chinde na kuruase Mogusi. Let us not just judge people based on their clan or their tribe. Ntobasiko ko kere kiongozi nga singencharo Mogusi go sa singencharo mobasi bunanche go saro mogetutu bunanche. Let's look at their development record, how much they can deliver. Nanda bagambe baito ponsi bagusi their closeness to the president. Let them make sure nga ba letre development down to the people. Basunya go see for president for nothing. And also, as we seek better leadership in our country, na abatebinga the problem is not just the leaders. Mo paskonya go complain all the time nga viongozi na babe viongozi bako ibachibesia bananchi abakurumi abanini. The people are also a problem. For as long as you okobangera ini kwa gwebezeri ndo akekura, you are part of the problem. For as long as you work romonta singincharo mo isanga, singincharo mo nyamatuta buna, singincharo mo kwerende bunaye, you are part of the problem because totaketigo judge abantu based on what they can deliver, or tateko judge based on how close or relatives you are to them. So let us seek better leadership. Chibese chiko with your money. Korero tigakero mo Kenya manyenga ngwakanale bango. When you pay a token ya KPSC ya 50 shillings, 20 shillings is tax. You go let this money concern you and let it make you bothered to want better governance in our country. Na and 2027 niko kwa debe Gen Z's wote kutoka Kisii na Nyamira County pigia kura.
But umesema wewe si utafuti kura kwa jina la Kisii.
Mimi nimesema sitafuti kwa jina la Kisii, natafuta kwa jina la Mkenya
figure.
Yes. Lakini si kwani national figure ina include kina nani? Si ni wa Kisii.
Safi.
If I'm looking to be president, I need the votes of Kisii. I'm just saying, don't judge me based on me being a Kisii. Judge me based on what I can.
The number by the signo ya chama yaoneri. Simple.
Simple ya chama is a syringe.
Sindani. To pete sindani kabisa.
Inject.
Enege safi mwanzo matagarade dakika hivi ngere chinsenye chama mbya nkoro kwa Lawrence Chakuni mheshimiwa Morara Kebaso. Thank you so much so gocha kwa nabo mungu nagetena turali tukolitohereru enege safi mbida kabira chinsenye chama.